heard of it," Helen retorted, standing up and smoothing her caftan. "I married it. You've been in a state of jet lag since 1956. Stanley huffed. His niece, Karen, was his pride and joy, or more accurately, his responsibility. He had promised his brother he would protect her, and in Stanley's lexicon, protection meant isolation. "She's trying to adjust to a new time zone," Stanley insisted. "She's trying to adjust to living the life of a nun," Helen countered. "What's that supposed to mean? You never let her out of your sight. You're more like her jailer than her uncle." Stanley's face reddened. "That's ridiculous. She's having a good time. I've taken her everywhere." "Stanley, you took her to the end of the pier to watch you fish for 3 hours. Then you told her your war stories until she fell asleep standing up. You call that a good time?" "I promised my brother," Stanley whispered. "This city is crawling with perverts. I'm doing my duty." Helen rolled her eyes and looked toward the ceiling, toward apartment 201. "Why don't you let her meet the kids upstairs? You know, the Andrews sisters, Patty, Maxine, and Tinkerbell." Stanley paused. He thought of Jack Tripper. To Stanley, Jack was the safest man in California because he believed Jack had no interest in women. A date with Jack would be like sending Karen out in an armored truck. "For once in your life, Helen," Stanley said, a slow, cunning smile spreading across his face, "you've got a smart idea. I'm going to talk to Jack." Chapter 2: The Cake and the Cameo. While Stanley plodded downstairs, life in apartment 201 was revolving around a more pressing matter: Jeanette's birthday. Jack Tripper burst through the door, balancing a white bakery box in one hand and his bicycle helmet in the other. He was breathless, his brow damp from the ride. "I got it," he announced. "The cake. And wait until you see the price." Chrissy hurried over, her eyes wide. "Oh, Jack, is it a surprise? Jeanette's in the kitchen right now." "Keep her there," Jack whispered. He opened the box to reveal a beautiful, slightly lopsided cake. Chrissy squinted at the icing. "Happy birthday, Jimmy?" Jack shrugged. "Some guy named Jimmy didn't pick it up. Half price." "Chrissy, I can scrape off the M-E and make it J. It adds an informal touch." Chrissy giggled, but her face soon clouded with worry. "Jack, I wish I could have bought her something nice. I got her a scarf, but, well, it's a scarf I can also wear. Practical, right?" Jack's expression softened. He knew how tight money was. He reached for his neck, touching the empty space where a silver chain usually hung. "I wanted to get her something special, too," Jack said. A few moments later, Johnny emerged from the kitchen, looking suspicious. "What are you two whispering about? Is it my surprise dinner?" "Surprise," Jack said, feigning shock. "I'm just making tuna casserole. The surprise is that we're actually going to eat it." The banter was interrupted by a knock at the door. It was Stanley Roper, looking uncharacteristically nervous. After shooing the girls away, He cornered Jack. "Tripper, I need a favor," Stanley said, leaning in close. "I want you to take my niece Karen out tonight." Jack blinked. "Tonight? But it's Jeanette's birthday. We have a Jimmy cake to fix." "I'll give you $50, Stanley hissed, pulling a crumpled bill from his pocket. "And you can use my car." Jack's eyes widened. $50. That was rent money. That was enough to get Jeanette's cameo back from the pawn shop. Jeanette had sold her grandmother's cameo months ago to pay the rent, and Jack had seen her eyes linger on the empty chain every morning. $50. Jack asked, "Is she, does she look like you, Mr. Roper?" "She's a beautiful girl, but she needs a sensitive companion, someone like you." Jack hesitated, then thought of the cameo. Deal. When Karen walked through the door moments later, Jack's jaw nearly hit the shag carpet. She didn't look like Stanley. She looked like a movie star, tall, blonde, and possessing a smile that could melt a polar ice cap. "Hi," Karen said, her voice like velvet. "I'm Karen." Jack's sensitivity was suddenly put to the ultimate test. He forgot about the cake. He forgot about the tuna. He only thought about the $50 and the girl in front of him. "Let's go," Jack said, grabbing his jacket. "I'll show you the town." As they left, Jeanette and Chrissy watched from the doorway. Jeanette's face was a mask of hurt. "He's staying for my birthday," Jeanette said quietly. Nice Fink. Chapter 3, The Overheated Radiator. The night did not go as Jack planned. While he had visions of a romantic dinner, followed by a heroic trip to the pawn shop, Stanley's car had other ideas. 2 hours later, Jack and Karen were stranded on the side of the Santa Monica freeway, steam billowing from the hood of the ancient sedan. "I'm sorry, Karen," Jack said, wiping grease from his forehead. "I fixed the radiator, but we've missed dinner." Karen leaned against the car, looking at Jack with an intensity that made him nervous. "You know, Jack, you're not like the guys I know in New York. You're respectful, almost too respectful." "Well, I try," Jack said, remembering his reputation with the Ropers. Karen continued, stepping closer, "we've been stuck here for 2 hours, and the only thing you've fiddled with is the radiator." Jack gulped. It was a very complicated radiator. By the time they got back to the Ropers' apartment, Karen was frustrated and Jack was exhausted. They sat on the Ropers' sofa, the apartment quiet. "One fast beer," Karen suggested. As Jack went to the kitchen, Karen grew bolder. When he returned, she didn't just take the beer, she took his hand. Suddenly, the door burst open. Stanley Roper stood there, his face turning a shade of purple usually reserved for eggplants. "I knew IT," Stanley roared. "Tripper, what are you doing with my niece?" "Mr. Roper, I can explain," Jack cried, jumping back. "Explain? I saw it. You were acting normal." "That's sick." Stanley pointed to the door. "Pack your things. You're out." Jack retreated upstairs, feeling like the world's biggest failure. He had lost his home, missed Jeanette's birthday, and he didn't even have the $50 yet. He entered apartment 201 to find Jeanette and Chrissy sitting